So the first thing I started out with was the Hangover X Too Faced Primer. It's really hydrating and I have really dry skin, so that's what I used. And then I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I don't have foundation right now. I would be using something if I had it, but I'm unemployed, so your girl broke. And plus, like, if this is an everyday tutorial, then I'm not gonna wear foundation every single day unless I got some pretty bomb-ass foundation. I'm going to apply this under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, above my lip, around my redness, and then on my chin and forehead. Alright, so the next thing I do is I take the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit, and I mostly use these two shades for high points, and I kind of use all of these two the most for the dark, like the darkest parts, or contoured parts. Sorry if I'm like looking away from the camera. My camera does not have a viewfinder, so I have to like look in the mirror at the back of the camera so that I can see what I usually take this color first because it's sort of like a bronzer color to me. It's very warm. And then after that, I take this shade in the deepest points of my contour. So I'm going to take that on a Morphe, what is this? A Morphe G3. Shut up. And then I take that first shade I was talking about, the bronzer shade type of thing, in my contour areas, but I blend it out more than I would, like I bring it out farther than I would bring out the contour shade. And I just bring it up to my forehead. I kind of use kind of a lot on my forehead because your girl got a big forehead. Then with the darkest shade from the palette, I take basically like the bottom edge of the brush, not that it really matters. I dot it around first, and I blend my forehead first because I use the most product there. Sometimes if it's a little bit patchy with blending, I just take the butt of the beauty blender and blend it out a little bit to make it a little bit more smooth. And then I blend this part out. This contour is a bit low for my liking, but it's hard to blend out unless I start there. So what I do after that is I take the butt of the beauty blender along the bottom edge to make it a little bit softer. And then I take my Morphe M224, which is a concealer brush, and I take the lighter color and place it underneath to clean up that line. Bring it up a little bit higher. And that covers up any redness that was under there. So it acts sort of as foundation that has like a very light coverage. And I take the lightest contour shade in the palette and I go under my lip because your girl's got tiny lips. And then down the sides of my nose. Not because it needs to be smaller, but because I want it to be uniform. And it does slim my nose down a little bit, which I like to have my nose snatched, you know. So then after that, I make sure everything's like blended to my liking. And then I take the Kat Von D Shade and Eye palette and I use the lightest shade in this palette for like, I think it's like a base shade or something. I don't know. I use it for contour because I am pale, and I use it on a Morphe G8. And there's like a tiny little tip on the top of the brush that I swirl around in the deepest points, and then I turn it on its side a little bit to blend up. I want there to be a deepest point of a contour, but still blend it upward. I don't think contour should all be one like line of color that's like the same and just blend it out on the edges, because that doesn't create as much dimension. It should create a rounded effect. So I did my brows off camera because everybody does their brows differently. This is just how I do mine. If you do want to see a tutorial on how I do them though, then just let me know because I'll do one, but I didn't want it to take too much time away from this because I do my eyebrows the same way every single day. So anyways, next thing I'm going to do is my eyes. I'm going to be using the Modern Renaissance palette, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Love this palette. I just got concealer in my hair, which is really, like, looks crappy right now. Probably is. I don't know how to do hair. All I do is my face, and then I look like a hobo for the rest. But to continue, I'm gonna zoom in and do one of my eyes for you to see. I'm gonna do one eye off camera, and then I'm going to zoom in so you can see the other eye. but I just want to make sure I know what I'm doing before I do it. Alright, well, this is the finished eye look. And I really hope I remember what I'm doing because I got called down to dinner between finishing this eye and starting to record this eye. So I'm just gonna get into it. Hopefully it looks the same. If it doesn't, whatever. But all the products I'm using will be listed in the description, like the lashes and whatever. I'll just let you know. Make sure you know everything because a lot of the time YouTubers don't tell you, and it's really infuriating because you just want it to look perfect and you want it to look like theirs, but it can't because they're not telling you what they're doing, and it's like, what's the point of making a YouTube channel if you're not gonna tell people how you do it? Like, alright, anyways, I'm gonna continue now. The first shade I'm gonna use is Golden Ochre on the brush that comes in the palette on the fluffy side. And I'm going to blend that in the crease as a transition color. And then I'm gonna take raw sienna on the tiny side of the brush on the outer portions of my eye. And then I go back in with Golden Ochre to blend that out. And then I'm going to take Warm Taupe on the small end of the brush and focus that in the outer corner and in the crease towards the outside. And then I take Golden Ochre on the big fluffy side again and blend out the corners so that it looks more like a triangle. And then I take Cypress Umber on the small side of the brush and focus that on the lower part of the outer corner and along the end of the lash line. And then I take Warm Taupe on the small end of the brush and blend out some of the Cypress Umber with that. And then I go back to Golden Ochre again and blend everything out once more. And then on a Tarte flat brush, I'm gonna take the color Primavera with a little bit of Smashbox primer water on the lid. And then with that same brush, I'm going to take Vermeer on the inner corner and a little bit of the center of the lid. And then also on the brow bone. And then for the underside of the eye, I'm going to take the small end of the brush and Warm Taupe, but just a little bit because you want to start with, you're more likely to do a good job if you start with not enough rather than too much. There was a little bit of Cypress Umber still left on that brush, so that made it a little bit darker, and I'm going to use this Morphe E37 to get closer to the lash line with Cypress Umber. And then I'm going to quickly wing my liner off camera and then come back so you can see how I smoked it out. And then I use my little e.l.f. concealer brush to clean up the line. Oh, and I got a little bit of fallout as you can see, so that sucks. I'm going to use my Morphe E2 to brush away any excess fallout and then cover what's smudged with a little bit of concealer. And then it's not perfect, but the lashes will drag a little bit of attention away from that. Just gonna powder it and then brush away that powder Oh geez, my Morphe brushes are like, this brush is falling apart. And then I'm gonna curl my lashes and apply some Lancome mascara primer, and then some They're Real mascara by Benefit, and then my falsies. Next, I'm gonna apply my Cocoa Lashes in Queen Bee with a little bit of Duo glue. I let that glue get a little bit tacky. And then once the lashes are tacky, I just try and apply them in a good place. I take them with a pair of tweezers and place them as close to my lash line as possible, and then I attach the back end and then the front. And then sometimes they lift a little bit, so I let them get a little bit more tacky. It's a very back and forth process. For me anyway, I don't have all that much practice. Sometimes I use my fingers to press the lashes as close to my eyelid as possible, trying to make sure they don't stick to the lashes in some place, my actual lashes in some places, because that looks really awkward. Hopefully they're in the same position on both eyes. Sometimes they're not. I'm not perfect. And then once they're attached, there's a little bit of glue on the strip that shows. So I take a black eyeshadow, whatever you've got is fine, and I take that on a angled brush and I cover the glue with a little bit of black eyeshadow so it blends in a little better. And that is the finished eye look. I just take my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water and I do a couple sprays on my face. And because the reason that I use my Photo Finish Primer Water before my highlight is on is because while my face is still tacky, I put a little bit of my Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in Sunkissed, I think, Sun Dipped, and I take the colors Summer and Moonstone on a Morphe M510, and I start applying it on the tops of my cheekbones, and it sticks a little better. And then I also apply it to the tip of my nose, the bridge, and the top of my lip, my Cupid's bow. And then I apply for, not an everyday, usually I go to school without any lipstick on, but for a baddie look, sometimes every day, like sometimes I wear this to school, literally, sometimes I don't, some days I do. I take the Ofra / Manny MUA lipstick in Hypno, and I apply that with a Ben Nye makeup brush, KB00, because I got this in a theater makeup kit, and it works incredibly for liquid lipstick. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see this a little better. And it's not perfect, so I'm gonna take that concealer brush again that I was using earlier and try and clean up the edges a little bit. Do you love me?